All right. So welcome to our LinkedIn class. Today I'm going to go over some tips about LinkedIn as well as networking. But before we begin, I'm curious, does anybody have any success stories, anything that's worked really well for them so far? As you know, in this class, you've got to get some LinkedIn connections. You'll do some informational interviews. Has anybody started on this already and want to talk about what they did that worked well? No? Okay. Um, all right. Also, just so you know, at the beginning of class, I'll also sometimes just ask if anybody has any good news. So it could be that you got a job, you got an internship, you got your mission call, you got engaged, like any of those things. Um, I'll let you kind of brag about it a little bit, I guess, as class starts. So just be aware. I'll do that and want you to chime in. Okay. Feedback on your elevator pitches. So I went through this morning and kind of saw what a lot of you had done with your elevator pitch or me in 30 seconds. It's really the same thing. And overall, I think it's a great start. I think you're off to a really good start. Just so you know, later on in your academic career, you'll take Business 301. It's the advanced writing. It fulfills the advanced writing requirement for those in the business field, um, and it gets you out of English 301. And so with that, you'll do more of these. So basically, Business 100. This is an introduction to all of that. But if you take my Business 301 class in the fall, which I'll be teaching, I'll do a lot of the things that we're doing here geared for freshmen. And then in 301, we do it much more in depth. And so just know your elevator pitch can be kind of skeletal right now. We're going to work on it and we'll help you out now as well as your resume. But just know that down the road, in at least in 301 and sometimes other classes as well, we're going to bulk up what you're doing. Kind of the main criticism that I see right now is that many of you are kind of telling about what you did, but you're not talking about the results. So remember with the lecture that you watched on Wednesday, where you filled out the shield, the key there is to not only figure out and kind of verbalize those important things that you've done, but talk about what result it made. So if it increased sales by 23%, that has to be in there. Otherwise, it's like, I came up with a cool marketing plan. Well, anybody can do that. The question is whether or not it had any positive effects on the business. So check out those elevator pitches and just, like I said, kind of add in the result and the positive result, I should say, of whatever changes that you've made or accomplishments that you've had. Any questions about that so far? All right. All right, you guys are a quiet class, which is, I get it's Zoom, so no worries there. The other thing that I just wanted to stress is that anytime that you have an informational interview, it's important that you send a thank you email later. So 5 years ago, they actually told students that you should send physical letters, like through the mail. Don't do that. That makes you look like a dinosaur. So now you can just do this via, really even through the instant messenger option with LinkedIn, but do it through email. I think that's pretty standard right now. And it shows that you're thankful for them taking some time out of their day to help you with an informational interview. The informational interviews, let's talk about that towards the end of the class. Right now, I just kind of want to jump into LinkedIn and show you some of the benefits of this. So let me cue this up. I'm going to pull this down and pull up. Let's see.
Question, do you frequently use LinkedIn or no? Is it something you continue to use even though you've graduated and you've picked your career?
Um, kind of. Um, yeah, so it's a good question. So LinkedIn it's used by something like 6 trillion people or something. Like it's just massive, right? I don't use it very much because I've got a job. I'm not looking for a job. Um, I'm okay. I think that it's a great tool, however, when you are looking for a job, and especially for students like you, it's a great way to get started. And the reason I say that is, you guys have probably heard this statistic. It's something like 80% of jobs are never even advertised. And so if you're just perusing job postings on whatever job posting site that you like, you're missing out on millions of other potential jobs. And this is probably true with all of you. If I polled you right now and said, of the jobs that you've had, how many did you get because you knew somebody? It would be overwhelming. Like, this was my first job. Just I worked at Disney, so Disney has this fashion magazine that they'll put out for every season. And I mean, loosely, I mean, fashion magazine is an interesting term. Um, but it is actually quite interesting because we get top models from like Ford or just all these other like top modeling agencies, and they'd show up and they're used to like, you know, Gucci or anyway, Burberry or something. And then they show up for us and we're like, okay, put on this Pooh Bear jacket. And it's quite funny. But I got that job because one of the managers over the Disney fashion was in my ward. And so she got me this job. And basically, I was a production assistant. I would kind of like get the sets ready and and all of that. And it was just because, again, she was in my ward. She knew I was 16 looking for a job, and she thought it'd be a good idea. She thought that I'd like a job working around like LA models. So it was okay. Like I was okay with that as a 16, 17 year old. Um, and it's probably true with a lot of you. LinkedIn is a way to just increase that network of people that you know. Now, there's right ways to do it and there's wrong ways to do it. The wrong way is just to send out LinkedIn invites to everybody that you know. Kind of the right way is to put a personalized message in there. So right now, let's see. I'm going to just reshare this real quick. Okay, so right now you should be seeing my LinkedIn page. Let me just refresh it so you can see what's going on here. And this, when you log into LinkedIn, your homepage is going to be the feed, much like Facebook or any other social media site. So here I can kind of scroll down and see what my connections are up to. Brad's building houses. Jesse is got a picture of Ronald Reagan. Anyway, now I don't spend a whole lot of time on here, but I do respond to people that light in this room that want to connect with me because I'm pretty good at connecting people with other people that they should know. By the way, a public service announcement, I should be like one of the first people that you add as a connection on LinkedIn, simply because I have over 2,000 connections. If you're looking for help, I'm a great person to talk to, right? So this is that, just so you can kind of get your feel around network. A lot of you already are on LinkedIn and have already added me. That's great. If you haven't, do that today. But again, I can see that 106 people have recently viewed my profile. Let's zoom this in a little bit. Here's my stats. So I've got, 100 people looked at my profile over the last 90 days. I can go back here to the main page and see that I've got 2,142 connections. Some of my businesses are on here. The schools that I've gone to. So I've got San Diego and others there. What else do I have? My network here. So when you do invite me to connect, it'll show up right here. So already I've got Michael, GA, Britannia, like, good job. You guys are already on this. So, and so you're all added already. So that's good. You click on this jobs icon up here. If you want to look for jobs, it's a great way to search for things that you're interested in. When you send me a message, I'll see it right there. And then other notifications, just when any of you post something, I'll get a notification right there. So good. Let's get back into that. But some of you are wondering, like, how do you even start? Well, you create your profile, like, that's easy. Let me say, when you are creating your profile, like, let me just go to my page real quick. So I click on my picture, and here you can see, this is just my profile homepage. One key for all of you is that your profile picture is not going to be the same picture that you use on Instagram or something. Anyway, that naked well, not naked, but you know, the swimsuit picture that you have or whatever, axe that. It's not going to be on LinkedIn. That's not going to work well. So here I've got my BYU Idaho profile picture. If you need somebody to take your picture, great. Like, there are lots of people out there that can take a professional picture of you. I think every ward in the church has like the designated photographer person that's like doing the baby pictures and the pregnant pictures and all of that. Go find that person, and he or she will do your picture for you. When you're on campus, this is free. So on the library, you just go to the top floor of the library, and in like the back corner, there's a little photo studio, and they'll take your picture. Also, oh no, there's an even better option. It's in the Career Center. I think it's called like the Career Networking Office. It's down in the MC bottom floor, like behind the bagel place. Go over there, and they've got a studio set up, and they do it for free too. So just put on something professional, go sit, they'll have you turn and like lift your chin and do all that stuff. They'll take your picture, and then they'll just email it to you, and you have it for free forever. So use that as your LinkedIn picture. All right, questions so far on any of this? All right. From there, you're just going to start building this up, much like you're going to build out your resume. Okay, so you'll have your name, kind of your title. So for all of you, it'll say business management student at Brigham Young University, Idaho, or something like that. Like whatever your major is, you'll put that there. You can add an about section where you talk more about yourself and the things that you're looking for. Just kind of build that out, okay? But once you've done that, now it comes down to how are you going to get your connections? All right, so here's my key for you. And these are the tools that I want to show you. One, you could always just come up here and search the name of somebody that you know that you want to connect with. That's great. Now, by the end of this week, you need to have 10 LinkedIn connections, just so you know. So a lot of this could just be the people that you know from your home ward, from your first job, like just start building it up with those people. That's great. But I really want you to focus on long-term career goals. Okay, and this is a great way to do this. So let me zoom in. I'm going to show you how to do some kind of cool functions here. So you go and you click on search. And for today, we're just going to click on people. So I'm going to click on, I'm going to search for people today. All right. So, all right. So once you do that, up top, you're going to get this new bar with people, and I can search my connections. I can search people by locations, by their current companies. That's great. I'm just going to show you all of the filters right now. Okay, so right here, these are all of the filters that I can search people with. So the first thing, like if I'm you, I'm going to come over here to schools, and I'm going to start at, I'm going to just start typing in Brigham Young, and I'm going to find Brigham Young University, Idaho. All right, why? Because this is where you're going to school. And so I want you to find people that went to BYU, Idaho. Now, if you type in Ricks, it'll also pull up BYU, Idaho, just so you know those two are they're connected on LinkedIn. So you don't have to do a separate one. If it's somebody that graduated here 30 years ago that went to Rick's, don't worry about it. They're all classified as BYU Idaho now. All right. So I've got my school chosen. And now let's say I want to go work like for you guys want to work for Tesla. All right. So I'm going to put in Tesla, like you want to go work in the Reno office or whatever. And you could actually do that here. You could put in for locations. I want to work in Nevada. All right, so let's just put Reno as an option there. So what we've done is we've narrowed this down. And this is based on you. You want to work in Reno, which, by the way, you probably don't do that. But just kidding. Reno's okay. And you want to work for Tesla, and you want to find somebody that went to BYU Idaho to connect with. Why? This is going to be the start of your network. This person's going to introduce you to other people, etc. Eventually, when you apply for the job, you'll know people there, and that's how you're going to get the job. Okay, so I've done those three things. I hit apply, and this is what it does. It comes up and it tells me who went to BYU Idaho. You know the drill now. So I've got Corey Dunn here. So I'm going to click on this. Looks like this is a recent graduate of BYU Idaho. And this guy, Corey, studied manufacturing and supply chain. And now he works at Tesla. So for the last 2 years, he's been at Tesla. This is a great person to connect with. So I'm just going to come up here and I'm going to hit connect. And here is where you have an option to do something. So for me, please don't worry about this. Like when you add me as a connection on LinkedIn, just hit send now. I don't need a message from you. It's cool if you do, like I'll read it and smile and whatever, but I don't need it because I know you're in my class. I'm just going to accept you as a connection. Now, Corey might not do that because Corey doesn't know who you are. Now, I have the luxury of being a professor, so I can just hit this and I guarantee you he's gonna accept that because he sees that I'm a professor at the school that he went to. But for you, he doesn't know who you are. And so I would add a note and say, dear, hi, Corey. I saw that you work at Tesla. I'm a student at BYU Idaho and really interested at working at Tesla down the road. So I'd love to connect. Just that's it. You don't tell your life story or anything. Just something simple like that is all that you need. Corey will get that in about 5 seconds. And depending on how often he checks LinkedIn, he'll eventually add you. Okay, so that I think that's just a great way to find people is just going through these different things. If you know where you want to work and you know a company that you want to work in, or if you don't know the company, then you're going to use this box right here for industries and just find like automotive or IT or whatever you're interested in. It could be law. If you're looking for attorneys that you want to connect with, just do that there. If you don't know the exact name of the company that you'd like to work for, which most of you probably don't, that's fine. You can just find the industry and the city. Like if you want to work in LA, in marketing and advising, and let's just stick with BYU Idaho. You're going to see how many, there's going to be a lot of these people. There's 74 of them that went to BYU Idaho that work in marketing and are in Los Angeles. Just start connecting with every single one of these people. All right. So that is, like I said, that's a great way to find and connect with people on LinkedIn. Now, this is just step one. This is a great thing to start while you're a freshman. Start building up your connections here because eventually you can reach out to these people. Like, let's take Perla right here. I may just connect with her right now, but in 3 years, when I'm serious about an internship or a full-time job, well, I'm going to go back to Perla and say, hey, Perla, I'd love to talk to you a little bit. And then you're going to set up an informational interview. So let me talk about informational interviews in a second. But before I do that, I want to show you one more tool about how to find people that are good to connect with. So like Chelsea, Megan, Colin, all of these people would be great, but there's another way to find these people. And to do that, I want you just to go into your search bar. You don't have to do it right now, but just click BYUI Super Connectors. Okay. And I don't know how to spell connectors apparently. All right, so here I'm gonna click on this first link. It's LinkedIn Super Connectors. What the alumni office has done, and now it's not really the alumni office anymore. It's just kind of the career office or whatever. But what they've done is they've gone through and they've done a lot of this work for you. So if you want to work in accounting, by the way, I learned this the hard way. Don't click on the little plus sign. That doesn't do anything. You have to click on the box itself. Why is that not doing anything? There it goes. So once you click on accounting, these are all, like if you're interested in accounting, all of these are former students at BYU Idaho, alumni that have told BYU Idaho, like, yes, I would like to be a super connector. I would like current BYU Idaho accounting students to connect with me on LinkedIn, and I will help them. They've like sworn that, promised it, signed it in ink, all of that fun stuff. So Chad Thompson right here, if I click on that, it will take me directly to his account, and I can connect with Chad. And again, if I'm you, add a little note, say, Chad, I saw that you're a super connector. I'm studying accounting at BYU Idaho, and I'd love to connect. Chad will, dang it, ghetto office that I have. Chad will immediately respond back, and he will be a great person to connect with. So if you need your 10 connections quickly, just go to this super connector thing. And again, it's great because we've got consulting, construction, data analysis, entrepreneurship, ethics, like all of these people want to connect with you. So anyway, use them. This gives you no excuse not to have 10 connections. And we're going to build that. You have to have 30 by the end of the semester. So just do it all right now and start getting all of these people that are interested in working with you. So again, just Google BYUI Super Connectors. And then, yeah, the second thing here for when you search BYU Super Connectors is the LinkedIn resources. And just so you know, the career office has put together another basically slideshow for you to look at if you have questions about LinkedIn. All right. 30 connections total. Yeah, for Blake, who had that question in the chat. Okay. Once you've done this, by the way, like once you've got all of these connections, another thing that we make you do throughout the semester is have informational interviews. Now, with this one, my suggestion to you is to like play it cool. Don't be weird with this. Okay, I've seen some students that write alumni and they're like, you know, hey Chad, I saw that you went to BYU Idaho. I'd really love a job from you. And anyway, you like jump the gun a little bit too early. I think the best, yeah, like the best way to look at this is something that maybe a lot of you have seen. Maybe you've gone on a first date with somebody, and during the first date, they're like talking about what your kids are going to look like. And you're like, okay, you're a psychopath. And you don't talk to that person anymore. Well, it's very similar with the job search. When you start the job search, you don't go immediately to like, I can't wait to work for you and we're going to be great teammates forever. Like none of that weird stuff. Knock that off. You ease into this. This is what I call, well, it's lessons that I actually have in Business 301 about tact, about how to be tactful, about how to approach things without being a super weirdo. And a lot of you are okay with this. Some of you I worry about. Just kidding. I don't know many of you that well. But yeah, just quickly, I saw Porter had a question. These people didn't have to go to BYU Idaho. It's just a great way to like make connections. But when you're doing the search, it could just be people that work for Tesla in Reno, and that's fine as well. But yeah, back to networking. Just just be cool about this, okay? Don't make me look bad because you went too fast with somebody. And sometimes we'll hear back from super connectors. They're like, yeah, I got a Scott. I'll just pick on you real quick. They're like, I got this message from Scott, and he's asking for jobs, and he's really mad that I didn't get him a job right away. And this sounds weird to most of you. You're like, nobody would do that. They do, and then yeah, our friends at these different companies call the career center, and they're like, please don't. What are you teaching these people? And then they look it up because the career center can do this. They're like, oh, Scott's in Brother Hales' class. What is Brother Hales doing? And then I get a call. So don't do that. Don't make the school look bad. Ease into this and be really cool with people. Like, they want to help you. And right now, I think is a great semester to start on this. Almost everybody in the professional world is working from home, which working from home means not really doing that much working. So they're probably happy to take your calls and emails right now, more so than when, like, what was it, just 3 months ago, and the economy was hopping and everybody was super busy. We've got a lot more time on our hands right now, which means they're willing to help you out. And so um, don't abuse it though. So when you do informational interviews, and you'll do a couple of those this semester, once you've reached out to somebody on LinkedIn, and it doesn't have to be through LinkedIn, that's the other question I get. Like, it could be somebody from your home ward or city or whatever that works in an industry that you're interested in. Just call them up and be like, hey, can I talk to you for 15 minutes about what you do? And anyway, you can blame it on me. Be like, I got this lame professor at BYU Idaho who's making us do this. No, that sounds like you're not very engaged. So don't say that. But just say something like, I'm really interested in what you're doing, and that's kind of my career goal eventually once I get out of BYU Idaho. And 99% of the time, these people love it. They're like, wow, somebody's interested in what I do, and they will love to talk to you. By the way, I think during lockdowns, it's also a great time to just go big. I've heard some great success stories of some students that have been able to talk to the CEO of the company that they want to work in. And so anyway, it's, again, judge this, like, have some tact. Don't just email. Please don't email Elon Musk right now. Like, he's busy putting rockets up into space. But maybe, like, talk to one of the VPs or something. This is a great opportunity to do that, because everybody, I think, right now is just more service minded. Everybody knows the economy is shutting down. Stock market tanked, then recovered. Now it looks like it's going down again. And anyway, it's, people want to help each other right now with everything that's going on in the world and the country. You can use this to your benefit. And so, yeah, call them up, set up an appointment. So here are my tips, right? Like, number one, I want you to make an appointment. So this can be done over the phone or via email or LinkedIn messaging. But set up a time, kind of work out who's going to call who. Make sure that you tell them it's going to be 10 to 15 minutes. You don't want to monopolize their time, or otherwise they'll just say no. Just say, I'd like a short informational interview. Keep it, I think, about 10 minutes, maybe 15. We'll say 10. If they extend it out to 15 or 20 or 30, that means that you're doing a great job, and this bodes well for your future with this person. But just say, I've got a couple of questions, 10 minutes of your time. All right. So again, make an appointment. Have your questions ready. So a lot of these questions you could come up with on your own. So start thinking of some right now. I'll say a couple, but then I want to hear from you. So I would think a great question is something along the lines of, how did you get to where you are right now? Or what did you do while you were in school at university that made it so that you could accomplish the things that you've done so far, for example? But yeah, I'll open this up. And any of you have any ideas of things that you'd like to ask the person that you're going to interview? You can write it in chat or just unmute yourself and talk.
I have an idea, Brother Hales. So I just signed up for an LSAT prep course, and
Yeah.
I'm like terrified of the LSAT for some reason. And I think that I have a couple of connections from my home ward that have taken both the bar and the LSAT and gone to law school. And so I think asking them for some advice on LSAT prep specifically can be
Yeah.
very, very beneficial, because I've learned that a lot of people have different opinions on how their LSAT experience went.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. And Scott, did I tell you somebody pulled the fire alarm during my LSAT?
No way.
It was the worst. Like we were in the middle of it, and somebody pulled the fire alarm, and we couldn't leave. Anyway, yeah. So like Scott and I could talk for 20 minutes about the LSAT right now, and yeah. So I think that's an awesome thing to do. By the way, for those that don't know, the LSAT, it's the standardized test that you have to take to get into law schools. So if you're looking at MBAs, I mean, there's GMATs, there's all of these different GREs for other kind of general grad schools. And so talking to somebody about that, I think would be great. And I just got a question on the chat about when you have to do these. The first one that you have to do is next week. So in that one, if you go into week 3, you'll be able to see this. And basically, you're going to do a write-up for all of these informational interviews that you do. You just kind of write out what questions you'd have, what questions that you asked them, and then summarize their responses. It's only 400 words, so it's like a quick thing. But yeah, for the one next week, we do put some, we handcuff you a little bit. So it can't be a BYU Idaho faculty. It can't be undergrad students. It can't be your parents or grandparents. But anyway, it can be pretty much anybody else. So just keep that in mind. Because if you're like, I'm just going to interview mom, well, cool, but like, let's build your network a little bit more than your mom. She's already in your network. All right. So yeah, good. But yeah, have a list of questions, and in that assignment, I give you a list of like a number of different questions that you could ask. Anybody else have other suggestions, things that they would want to ask?
Brother Hales, I actually have a question in general. I actually was going to talk to my cousin's friend who is in the marketing industry. Um, and I'm kind of looking in that kind of direction. And so I was wondering if I could even use her as an interview as well. Like, does it have to be people from LinkedIn or?
Nope, absolutely not. So yeah, what I mean, if you've got a cousin's friends, sisters, mailman's, pen pal, like do it. As long as these are people that are beneficial to you, that work in an industry maybe that you don't even want to do, but you're interested in and may want to do down the road. Man, do it. And during the semester, I think normally it's 3. I may have pulled it down to 2, but do 50 of these this semester. This is the way that you get jobs. And I hear this over and over and over again. It's like, Brother Hales, I talked to this person, they put me into contact with this other person, and all of a sudden I'm working in New York. And great. Like don't limit yourself here. 3 is the minimum. Yeah, 3, you have to do those for the points in this class, but really it could be 1,000 people. You'll have so many internships and job offers that you won't know what to do with yourself. So yeah, Matt, great question though, but it doesn't have to be through LinkedIn. This is just a tool, one of the tools that you can use to start building your network. Other questions?
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. So Blake asked if your father-in-law is considered a parent. Yeah, it's basically a parent. So you married into that family, find somebody else. But your father-in-law would have ideas of like maybe a business partner or something like that. So yeah, use them to find other people to connect with. Okay. Okay, so yeah, have your questions ready. Be professional. So most things are done over Zoom right now, which is interesting because 3 months ago, these were all phone calls. Now, because Zoom has exploded, I should have bought stock earlier. Then you'll probably do it over Zoom. So make sure that you've got your turn on light. Make sure that you got your, you just look professional. You don't have to have a tie. Ties, by the way, this is actually funny. Scott, I think you heard me say this, but I hate ties. Ties make no sense. It's like, hi, I'm going to wrap myself up like a beautiful little present and put this around my neck. It serves no function. It's actually terribly stupid, and it collects germs, which during a pandemic has me concerned. But we do it because the French did it, right? And you probably could have guessed that before I even said anything. It was like King Louis, blah, 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 whatever, the 15th or something, saw that his warriors were wearing scarves around their neck just so that they wouldn't kill each other in the battle. And so he thought, that looks pretty. I'm going to put it on me. And once King Louis whatever started doing it, like everybody in Europe started doing it. And now in 2020, I'm still wearing a tie thanks to some French king who thought it looked fancy during a battle. So again, most business people don't wear ties. At BYU Idaho, it's actually required that we wear ties, the professors. Yeah. But for you, it's not. And for most business people, they don't, even major law firms that I've worked at and other businesses that I've worked at and visited, not a ton of people are wearing ties anymore. But it's always best to be overdressed. So if you're not sure, throw on the tie just because nobody really regrets wearing a tie when the person that they're interviewing isn't. Like, be overdressed rather than underdressed. Okay, so yeah, but be professional, speak professionally. Yeah, have tact. We've talked about that. Show interest in what they're doing. Obviously, you have interest in what they're doing. That's why you set it up. Hopefully, it's not just to meet the requirements of this class, but show your genuine interest. Don't feign interest in something that you're not interested. That's lame. And then, of course, when you're done, shoot it like right after, or maybe give it 20 minutes. Just so you don't seem too desperate, but send a thank you email, thanking them for their time and talk about something that you took away from it that you're going to remember. That's important, I think. I've seen some people just do this on LinkedIn as a public post, and they'll, when they type in the name of the person, it'll say like I've had students do this to me too. They're like, I really appreciated what Brother Hales did today. And then it'll link up, and so my connections can see that somebody's publicly praising me. That makes me feel good. All of a sudden I'm the good guy on LinkedIn that's helping out students. That's kind of cool too. So that works well. But just thank them for their time, talk about what you learned, and they will remember you and stay in contact with them. Like you don't just do this interview and then never talk to them again. Like, feel free to shoot emails every 6 months or whatever appropriate time frame that you feel is good, will be very beneficial. So kind of those are my keys to success with the informational interview that you'll be doing. All right, Tanner, we'll talk in a little bit. That would work. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I think I said I was going to come back to something, and I'm not sure that I did. Anybody remind me if you remember? That may have been it. So I'm just checking my LinkedIn. All right, 8 more of you have already connected with me on LinkedIn. Way to go. Let's see. I think that those are the main things that I wanted to talk about today. Any general questions before we wrap up? Okay, my suggestion is have fun with this. Meet people. Some of you don't know what you want to do yet. That's fine. But one way to find out if you want to do it or not is to start connecting with people that do things that you might have an interest in. Anyway, so get started on that. And I think the key is just to have fun with it. Now, one thing that I'll do right now, yeah, this will be fun. I'm going to break you up into groups of 2 people. And when I do that, what I want you to do is I want you to, whoever it is that you're paired up with, this is just going to be completely random, get their name, figure out like who they are on LinkedIn, and anyway, this is basically giving you all one free LinkedIn connection right now from another class, from another student in your class. Now, this is super important. Your classmates will be the best network that you could ever have. I have given jobs to like 6 people that I went to school with. I have actually gotten a job. One of my jobs in Florida was from a friend in a class that we took corporate finance together, and he got me a job in Orlando. So this can be extremely beneficial. So anyway, just do this, and then you can jump out once you've connected with each other in the class. So I'll do that now, and then I will see the rest of you on Wednesday if you have questions. So good luck, everybody. Thanks.